What's the role of technology in modern fundraising? Well, we work with charities from all over the country, and we found some of the best practices on how to implement modern tools to enhance our fundraising. And today, we're going to talk about it. Now, let me preface this by saying technology, and especially digital technology, which is kind of where we're talking about, like, yes, the typewriter's technically technology, but a little bit antiquated and not much used in fundraising anymore. However, technology as a whole that we're talking about today is a tool in modern fundraising. It is not a replacement for the person-to-person sitting down across from a real human live and asking for money. That is anywhere from 80 to 95% of this job, this industry. If you do it right, it is to talk to real people live with real conversations, ask real human questions, not through a screen. That said, there are a lot of amazing tools that make our job way easier. We're going to go through how to optimize some of those today so that you can work on your efficiency and spend more time out in the field talking to donors and raising money. Number one, how can we not talk about it, but AI-driven donor analytics. If you'd like a really detailed look at this, we have an entire video on this. I'll link this below, or you can keyword search it on our website or on YouTube. But just to scratch the surface a little bit here, we know that the current AI tools are excellent at data segmentation and sorting through data. Now, quick caveat, and we mentioned this in all of our AI type fundraising videos, make sure you anonymize your data before uploading it to a platform like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or any of those that can process large tables of information. Just delete the donor's name, contact information, that kind of stuff, and just replace it with donor 1, donor 2, and then have a key on your computer that you can match, donor 387 is John Smith or whatever. But don't put people's personal information, and definitely don't put people's credit card information into those large language models. We definitely don't want to do that. So once you've anonymized your data and you've uploaded it to ChatGPT, you can ask it questions like, show me the donors who have given in the last 5 years who are most likely to give again and why. It'll give a nice list of 10 donors saying, here's people who've given very consistently without being asked, and we think that they might have propensity for a major gift. One of the things you can keep in the data set is zip codes. Sometimes zip codes are a soft indicator of wealth. If you know that a particular part of your community has really expensive houses in one certain zip code, that might be an indicator of wealth a little bit. These little soft cues help. You can leave that in. It still stays pretty anonymous. But we really want to be careful about over-reliance on these AI tools. They can get us started, but they can't take us too far. We can get great donor segments with really high precision, and that's probably one of the best things that AI currently does. One example of how you might be able to segment donors is say, hey, identify 5 key segments of my donor base based on the different programs that people support, especially if the type of program or the designated dollar is actually in your database. It'll say, hey, if you're a hospital, maybe it's there's cardiac and NICU and oncology, and here's some specific appeals that I can write, some outreach letters, social media posts, an e-newsletter, anything that you can do to actually reach out to these donors, and it's customized to each of these segments. Then you can kind of copy paste that over, customize it in your own way, of course. Make sure that you have a human go through and type every single word and make it look normal again before you send it out. And you can have these highly segmented touch points to each of these areas that really work well and have a much better return rate for you. So definitely using AI to analyze and segment your data. Just make sure you're doing it ethically. Next is online crowdfunding. These are tools like Fundly or Indiegogo or GoFundMe. We have a whole video just on this, so if you want to compare the different platforms, look at the pros and cons, you can check out that video. It'll give you a lot of information about which one is maybe best for you. We don't have any affiliation with any of them. We just got to review and actually try all of them. But for crowdfunding, we want to make sure that we're tempering our expectations, saying this is a great way to go kind of one-to-many with fundraising. Fundraising as an overall principle is one-to-one. Again, it's sitting down across from somebody. But crowdfunding, there are tools online that allow you to put a specific thing with a specific time frame and dollar goal and share that, so it's very peer-to-peer. And you don't have to do much once it's set up. Just some general tips for this: super specific with the thing you're trying to fund, along with the price tag. You don't want to talk about, we're just trying to fund for operations for the year. We're trying to reach our goal of whatever. It's like, well, why are you trying to reach that goal? What happens if you reach that goal? What's the outcome? What's the impact if you were to raise $25,000? And again, how much is it? Exactly $25,000 or 30 or 35, whatever the amount is. And then of course, a deadline. We're saying we want to do this We want to have all this money raised by November 14th, or pick a date, that's 2 weeks out, 2 months out, doesn't really matter, but having a specific set of deadlines kind of mimics a little mini campaign, allows people to share on social media, give online, give through platforms like Venmo and PayPal and these easy online dollar transfer portals that are much lower friction than some of the other services use. So can utilize crowdfunding. Again, if you want to go a deep dive on that, just check out our video on that, but would highly recommend checking it out if you've never tried it before. You can raise a decent amount of money if you do it right. Hey, thanks for checking out our video. If you're getting value out of this but would like something more personalized, you can book 30 minutes with one of our experts to see if you qualify for our support services. Link below in the description. Next is virtual donor engagement. Now, engaging your donors or interfacing, talking to your donors, having them talk back is of course better in person. But if you have a lot of donors, or they're spread out geographically, or you have very limited time because you're a small staff or have lower bandwidth, being able to engage with them virtually in addition to in person and kind of filling in those gaps throughout the year is really useful. Again, it can be fast, it can be one-to-many. This can look like newsletters. All you're doing is sending a little bit of information quarterly or monthly, just to your donors. This is a specific communication that goes out just to people who give to your organization of like, hey, here's what's going on. Here are the things we're up to this quarter. Here's some of the accomplishments that we have. Here's some of the events that we have coming up, all that kind of stuff. Social spotlights. We can talk through all the different pieces that we have on social media. Again, a whole nother video for that as well, but you want to feature donor stories, feature impact, things that you've done that have gone well and change that you've made in the world. You can talk about staff highlights, staff that have been there for a long time or who are doing a great job and are making an impact. And it can just be something simple, like photos of your facilities or photos of your mission. You don't have to go crazy with this, but just kind of keeping yourself in the minds of your donors and your constituents really easy. You don't have to go crazy with social media. Maybe post twice a week, spend a couple hours on Monday, every other week, and schedule out your posts so you don't have to think about it much. It's kind of a set it and forget it. You don't have to do a lot with social media. You just have to be a little bit involved. Increasingly so, this is how people want to interface with organizations, and it gives you a nice funnel for your website as well to direct traffic. Next is CRM or database and automation tools, things that you can do with your CRM. If you have a CRM, you have a variety of different features you could have depending on what company you've gone with, depending on what tool you use. But most will let you schedule automatic thank you reminders, gift anniversaries when people hit certain milestones. Most CRMs let you set up if you have gone too long without talking to a donor, you've gone too long without sending a message or marking an action. It'll say, hey, don't forget, you got to talk to Jenny. It's been 4 months since you've sent anything to Jenny and she's one of your best donors. Maybe just call her. You can mark, yes, I've called her, and then it'll start that timer over. Getting these little automations set up is an investment on the front end. It will take you time, but if you're able to have a clean database and you're able to do this well, it gives you a great way to prioritize your work. We always say that in fundraising, we're assigned about 80 hours of work per week, and we just pick our favorite 40 or the most impactful 40 every week. So this is a great way to sort through that. Keeping your database clean is so important. If you have multiple Excel spreadsheets and they're all floating around, that is in the long run, especially going to cost you a ton of money by not staying organized. So doing a little bit upfront time to get everything organized, get those automations set up. If you need some recommendations on CRMs, check out our information on that over on our blog or on our YouTube channel. And finally, we have data security and compliance, which does not sound very exciting until it becomes a problem and you have some sort of a breach. This is particularly true of healthcare nonprofits, which is a huge chunk of the nonprofit niches across the country are hospitals and hospices and free clinics and all sorts of people who support the healthcare system. Data security in those cases with HIPAA and being able to access donor versus patient records, we want to make sure we're doing this all well and we're making sure that we're focused on staying compliant within the guidelines. Outside of the obvious issues of a data breach and keeping our stuff super secure, being able to demonstrate that we have good security, we're not sharing anonymous donors' names, we're not selling people's information, and we're keeping that donor trust allows us to build more longevity with our donor base. Keeping your website up to date with regular audits and keeping all of your stuff encrypted, making sure that you're consulting with the proper tech and IT people to make sure everything stays up to date from a security standpoint is super important. And digitally backing up all of your records so that they're not just stored locally. Yes, it'd be very, very easy to lose physical paper if you have records on file, if there was a fire or some sort of natural disaster. But if you have all of your records stored on your work laptop and they don't live anywhere else, it's a huge problem if they don't live somewhere in the cloud. So if you haven't invested some time, effort, energy into sending your data and information and files onto various servers so that if you lose one device, you can access those things from another securely and without risk of a data breach, extremely important to do so. So what did I miss? What are some other roles of technology in modern fundraising that I've left out? Please let me know in the comments below, and of course include any questions as well. If you'd like some more direct help with your fundraising, you can always head over to pridephilanthropy.com and click on that Let's Chat button. Allows you to talk to a member of our team and set up a meeting and see if we can help you directly. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.